actualization is becoming all that you are and can be in this world. Your higher self is always there, and it's the true self, the noble self, that goes beyond the known world. I want to talk about the mentor archetype in the hero's journey, because the mentor archetype is crucial to storytelling. I believe the hero's journey, it's not a masculine, feminine thing. I believe that it's a path to self-actualization because it mimics the ways that we experience life as humans on Earth, and it mimics the flow and the patterns and the sequences of how we interpret and process events. In this way, it can be such a powerful self-development tool, and it's why I teach it to writers in the art of memoir, not just as a plotting device and a technical way to map out the story structure, but as a way to work through everything that comes up in the path to birthing a creative work like a book. I use the stages of the hero's journey to work through events that I'm processing myself. It's such a powerful, helpful tool. If you have watched any of my videos about the story star codes, it is this evolutionary story structure, and part of it is seeing that these archetypes that turn up and appear at certain stages in the hero's journey are aspects of your higher self. So the mentor archetype is one of the crucial archetypes in the hero's journey. The mentor often appears after the hero of the story, which is you, if this is a story you're experiencing or writing based on lived experience. The mentor is there to get you over that threshold from the ordinary world, the place of stasis, into the special world of change and challenges and tests and ordeals. Now, something special and revolutionary that I've realized through working through my own story is that the mentor is actually you. And every archetype is actually you. There's 4 that I teach really crucially in the hero's journey, but the mentor, which is so crucial to every story and every path of self-actualization, is you. It is your highest self. So if you look at it this way, the mentor is you, manifesting in physical form as an event or an actual person or a podcast or any of those functions of that archetype. Every archetype serves a function in story. The mentor gets the hero over that threshold because the mentor provides courage, like a higher power wisdom. The different ways the mentor can appear symbolically. Often it can be like a parental figure, a teacher figure, a guide, an idol. And how you identify that is, have they provided some kind of mystical or higher power encouragement that has given your heart, your spirit enough courage to get over the line that you have never crossed before? Then that is your mentor. That is the archetype of that story. I realized a couple of months ago that the mentor is also very commonly ourselves, our higher self, because the mentor appears in many stories as someone in a dream. Now, dreams are our unconscious. Dreams are our spirit's way of speaking through the unconscious. So if you remember a really beautiful or powerful dream you've had, and it has given you a message or given you a feeling or an insight that has gotten you over that threshold into the special world of your big, bold leap or change or whatever it is that you're going through, then that is your mentor. If we think about the mentor as the higher self, we can then see that the other archetypes in the hero's journey are all aspects of ourselves as well, including the villain, the shadow self, which I truly believe. Everything outside is a mirror to what is going on inside. The inner is reflected outer. The as above, so below. It's that whole thing of I am that I am. But something really nice to think about with the hero's journey and the mentor archetype is reflecting on all those times that your past self or your future self, this higher version of you who is capable of so much, who sees beyond what is here and now, who dreams the bigger dreams, who wants the bigger things, who has this noble call. I think the key word noble is really important too. In the hero's journey, the call to noble adventure is stage 2 after the ordinary world. And it's not just the call to adventure, it's the call to noble adventure. And noble, I've got a whole section on this in that lesson that I teach around that stage of the hero's journey in the art of memoir. But that whole noble adventure is about integrity. It is about these higher truths that every human knows to be true. Dr. David Hawkins says that seeking truth is the turning point to any positive change, is the courage to seek the truth of who we are, what we are, or just the truth in general. Facing the truth, that is a noble value, the truth. Things like integrity, justice, balance, harmony, self-actualization, fulfillment, joy, kindness, compassion. These are all noble values. Even being in good health, so that your call to noble adventure might be to get yourself out of this stuck point situation where you are not living your life to its fullest potential. And that is a call to noble adventure. And so if you think about the mentor as an aspect of you, fulfilling that function of getting you over the line into the special world where there will be trials, there will be tests, there will be challenges, and that is how you grow. All you have to see and perceive and note to understand that is you, that mentor that you are seeking is actually you, is to have a think about the times that you have done a little bit more than you ever thought you were capable before. Those times that you've exceeded the known world, those times that you have created something that has benefited you in the long term. I know that my higher self shows up in the kitchen. My higher self shows up in the garden. My higher self shows up in other people's houses where I've placed things so that they can have things in future times, because I always leave the place better than before. I always fix things or leave things. And so sometimes when I go back to a house that I've stayed at, I find all these things and I'm like, oh, that's so magical. Wow, what a great, I love that kind of thing. And then I realize I put it there. And so that past self me, even recently I got back from overseas and I was so overwhelmed. I was tired. I was jet lagged. I was like, how on earth am I going to get back to normal after this massive interruption and interference with all my goals, dreams and visions for this year? I found all these things that I had done prior to leaving Australia, which I forgot I'd done. And that was my higher self who had done a bit extra, gone the extra mile and known that when I had the capacity, I could do it. Your higher self is always there. And it's the true self, the noble self, that goes beyond the known world, the known timeline, thinks far in advance, thinks bigger picture, thinks about the community and the collective, not just the personal, and seeks to make the world a better place. And that is in you. Every archetype and every function of every archetype exists within you. And the mentor is not someone outside of you. I think the biggest illusion I see is when people say, oh, she had no mentorship, or he had no mentorship or guidance, and everyone needs mentorship and guidance. Every single human on this planet is going through their own hero's journey at any one time, and attracting and interacting with and communicating with all different people and characters in their lives. And some people have like a mentor who shows up as an actual mentor, and others go through a much more individualistic process where they have to be that mentor to themselves. And I actually think that this is far more common. And The process of the hero's journey is integrating these higher self aspects like the mentor, like the ally archetype, even the villain, who is very helpful. The villain exposes the contrast and the gap in the hero's knowledge and shows them where they need to grow and where they need to expand, or they'll keep having this problem. So if you look at it that way, that we are all here to expand and self-actualize, the mentor is within you always. And if you can't find that mentor outside of you, what is that showing you? It's showing you that you are your best mentor. And that is actually the path of self-actualization anyway, is learning to trust the inner wisdom, learning to trust what life is showing you and revealing to you about yourself, and learning to trust your truth and your seeking self and where that is leading you, and learning to trust where life is guiding you, and that call, that inner call to noble adventure. Often people think, I can't cross that threshold unless I have this, unless I have these people backing me, unless I have the support of this. Self-actualization is the process of giving that to yourself, mothering and parenting yourself, supporting yourself. Individualization and actualization is becoming all that you are and can be in this world, and recognizing that the symbolic nature of archetypal functions can show up in so many ways that aren't limited to a literal meaning. It can show up as something that you did for yourself a while ago. It can show up as a bird. It can show up as a weather pattern. Even in your body, physical illness can be a mentor. And supposedly negative things can be a mentor. I know recently when I got back from overseas, I was trying to integrate a lot of what had happened, because it was really only a week that I was gone, but it was just like a lifetime of spiritual understandings that I was trying to grasp from this trip, this very sudden trip halfway across the world. And I actually got sick. I was trying to integrate it in all the conscious ways that I knew, but then I got hit by this flu and I was just flattened. And I never get sick like that, never. I thought it was COVID. It was so bad. There was a cough. It was really serious. And my head was dizzy, so I couldn't even write. I couldn't do anything. I was forced to just stop. And then after a couple of weeks, I realized that was such a gift, that sickness, because it slowed me down and it forced me to stop and listen and hear and process and just be with all that had happened. And so that sickness was my mentor. And there's so many symbolic and metaphorical ways that things show up. This is also why I have advised people to write your memoir like it's a dream, because often when we recount a dream, we separate ourselves and we're like, listen to this crazy world of my dream. And then you say it out loud and it's really easy to interpret. Your feet can't reach the accelerator. You can't put the brakes on a car in a dream. That's because you don't feel like you're in control of the forward movement in your life. If you talk about this story that you're living, your experience, in the way that you would talk about a dream, i.e. everything is a metaphor or a symbol, and in story, everything has a function. Archetypes have a function. The sequences, the scenes have a function, or they're not part of the story. It can really help you. So storytelling, the way I teach it, it's really a personal development tool. It's a personal growth tool. And there's nothing more important in our lives than understanding who we are and knowing ourselves and our story. And this is why I teach memoir, and this is why I teach it the way that I do. Maybe next time you're thinking about the mentor archetype in the hero's journey, have a think about how you've shown up for yourself in that way, and you've fulfilled that function of giving yourself courage or a gift that's gotten you over the threshold of something into the special world, which is where all the treasures and the journey to becoming all that you are is waiting for you. That higher self, the mentor is you. I'd love to know if this resonates, so please leave a comment. And if you would like my guide to the hero's journey, I will link to that below. Okay,